Hello, and welcome back to a new video. Today, I will be remaking the ancient city of how I remade the trial chambers and the desert temple in previous videos. I will be taking the name ancient city literally, as I find that the real ancient city currently in the game, it feels more kind of like a village, like you would see above the surface, but it's an ancient city, so that's how I'm going to be doing it. Okay, so I begun with making all the center, the paths, and the main buildings for the ancient city. The buildings can have up to 3 layers. They start off with a base layer, which can either have a half top, no top, or full top. Then the full tops can either have nothing else or an additional layer on top. So they can range from 1 layer to 3 layers. And the paths also, instead of just being a basic path with nothing on top, I wanted to kinda imitate the real ancient city a bit by having them have an upper layer, same with the intersections of them. But for the ancient city, I wanted to do something different. As with most structures, they go out randomly in a bunch of different directions, extending a certain distance. But for the ancient city, I want it to be a set layout with the houses being randomized. In order to make it a set layout, I used all these different paths. Like each one of them is different, but not visibly. So that they will follow a specific layout each and every time. After creating the main structures for the ancient city, I added loot to them in chests, barrels, pots, and suspicious gravel, with varying levels of loot and how good they are. After creating the main city, I could have just left it there, but I wanted to make this closer to the trial chambers, where it's more difficult if you come there with an arm with bad omen currently on you. I want the ominous variation to still be how the ancient city normally is, where you have to be quiet. So what you'll have to, my plan is you have to navigate to 4 different spots in the city. One objective being in each quadrant that you have to like break or something. And once all 4 of them get gotten, you get your reward in the center of the city. So I need something to begin the ominous variation, something to detect when the block is broken at each corner, and then something to detect when all 4 blocks are broken. The first thing I had to do was figure out how to make it so that the command blocks would actually work, because command blocks and structures for some reason don't work at all. The best way I've found, which these command blocks are by far the least hidden, is hiding some command blocks in a section of the city with a pressure plate, inclining the player to activate them. So I've hidden the command blocks back here for starting it, command blocks underneath for actually spawning the loot, and then for each building there needed to be a separate variation which has the command blocks. It's 4 command blocks, I can't hide them very well, so I just try to integrate the command blocks as well as possible into each and every structure, being as natural as possible, in order to make it so that it spawns the different building for each part. I just modified some of my previous paths so that they will spawn in the special ones instead of the normal one. Now one of the problems I was having with the city is that when it would spawn, it's so big that it'll actually leave the deep dark biome, and so there will be tons of buildings that just look like this with no change. So I added some things that changed some of the blocks in a structure to a different block, and so it's possible when I'm not even a deep dark biome for the structures to still have skull all over the place. Okay, so a demonstration on the command blocks not working. I can be around the city, go around like everything, and there will be absolutely no change. I will keep my bad omen with nothing happening, which shows that these command blocks to actually make it happen are required. As shown, they do the list of commands, and now when I circle around, it can actually start up. Right there, it started up. Upon starting up, you get a skullbird. It sets up, it spawns in the 4 wardens, 1 in each corner, and will spawn a little slime that's glowing so that you know what you're trying to do. You see there's a slime. Upon breaking it, you no longer can claim it again. Now, upon reaching 3 score, you'll be blinded. Actually, very underused effect in the game. But even with this blindness, you can still see your target, the slime, in the distance because it glows. And once you reach 4 score, you lose the scoreboard and your blindness will shortly be removed. In the center, loot has spawned. Okay, so now the final part of me making any data pack, pretty much, is adding in achievements. So with this, I've added in 4. The first one you get for just entering, and these are all littered in the adventure tab. The second one is awarded for uncovering an item in suspicious gravel. The third one is awarded for looting a chest in the city. And the final advancement is awarded for completing the ominous variation of the ancient city. So this is my version of the ancient city remade with all new achievements, inspiration from the trial chambers for a much more difficult variation, which grants a new challenge to the player, and also rewarding loot for the challenge that it presents. That's it for this video, and goodbye.